What are you going to be watching for here in the months ahead as that takes place?
Well, thank you for having me. It has just been such chaos, and there really doesn't seem to be a coherent policy from this president. And really, different members of the administration saying different things, not even being read in when they're testifying before Congress. It is really unlike anything I've ever experienced. And I'm also very concerned by the president's role in potential market manipulation. You know, at 9:37 a.m. on Wednesday morning, he sent a Truth Social post out there saying this is a great time to buy with 3 exclamation points. Then a little bit less than 4 hours later, announced this 90-day pause. I want to know, as do many of my colleagues in the Congress, what other members of Congress may have known before or during that time, particularly those who had spoken with the president. Did they buy or sell stock themselves? You know, the Stock Act that we have will require them to disclose, but that will be in a number of weeks, and we're calling on them to disclose immediately because at the end of the day, I really don't think that, members of Congress should be trading stock at all, but certainly not on the basis of material, non-public information. So that's in addition to all the chaos and uncertainty that this ongoing tariff crisis is causing with businesses in my district and all across this country.
Well, on the market manipulation concerns, Congressman, I don't know if you've seen any evidence that may have taken place, that there may have been insider trading, or does it require an investigation to actually unsurface that? And do you think there is a thrust for that in a Republican-controlled Congress?
Well, if we had a Department of Justice that was equal in its adherence to the law, meaning that the laws of the land should apply to the President of the United States and to all members of the House and Senate, regardless of party, I think the DOJ would certainly be looking into it. And if Republicans in Congress were interested in oversight of the Trump administration, and again, the equal administration of the laws of the land, I think that certainly House oversight, House ethics, and others would be investigating. So we've called now on Speaker Johnson to begin the process to try to get to the bottom of whether any members may have had inside information. We do know that they met with President Trump last night, or Tuesday night, I should say, at an NRCC event. We know that they've been speaking both on the phone and in person to the president in the hours and the days leading up to both the post in the morning and then the announcement in the afternoon. But beyond that, you know, the tariffs that are still in place, the 10% baseline, the additional tariffs on Canada and Mexico, and of course 125% on China, you know, according to your analysis of Bloomberg, I've seen it could lead to a 2% increase in core inflation, 3% decline in GDP. And this really is without precedent. Since Smoot-Hawley, we know how that wound up.
Congressman, I want to ask you what you're hearing from your constituents as you get ready to make your way back to California, to San Diego County and Orange County. What are they telling you just about what this uncertainty is like in real terms on the ground as they watch from there, the sort of fits and starts that we've seen with this trade policy, the changes? What has it meant realistically for those who are having to navigate this as those who are owning small businesses?
What I've heard is a fear about making investment decisions, about borrowing money, and really in some cases, we're seeing where people are being laid off or hiring decisions are not being made. There's just an uncertainty and a trepidation to make any sort of big business decisions in this environment. And look, there are also a lot of, mom and pop investors and seniors and others close to retirement who sold on Thursday and Friday and Monday, and they were big losers in all of this. That's the unfortunate reality of this whole thing. And of course, the ongoing price of all sorts of goods from China, Canada, Mexico, and elsewhere, we know is going to continue to increase. That's not good for anybody. We just want common sense again, and my hope is that, eventually the American people are going to have enough of this volatility, this craziness, recognize there's no grand plan in place here. There's just a desire by the President of the United States to increase his own power at the expense of everyday Americans.
Well, of course, the president also has other plans when it comes to pushing a legislative agenda through both chambers. I do want to ask you, Congressman, about what happened in the House earlier today, which was the passage of a Senate-passed budget blueprint that now paves the way for the real budget reconciliation debate to begin, knowing that your Republican colleagues are pushing for at least $1.5 trillion in spending cuts. And I ask you, as an appropriator, where are you anticipating those cuts realistically will come from?
The only place they can come from, just given the math, is Medicaid and nutrition aid. Those are going to be the hardest hit, if in fact the $1.5 trillion is what winds up happening at the end of the day. And look, they can try to debt finance all of this. That would be a disaster as well. I'm a Democrat very concerned with deficits and the debt. And I do worry that some of these folks think they're just going to grow their way out. It didn't work in the 80s for Reagan. It didn't work for Trump 1.0. It won't work for Trump 2.0. And at some point, we're going to have to come together around some fiscal sanity in this country. So I'm extremely concerned they're trying to finance tax cuts for the extremely wealthy. They're going to do it on the backs of those most vulnerable in our society, our seniors, our veterans, children who will go without enough to eat. It's reprehensible to me. We won't support it. I'm going to advocate for a real appropriations process, a bipartisan process. That's what Mike Johnson and these guys claim to want. Now we have an opportunity to see if they're serious about that or not.
Very quickly here, is there an appetite for that conversation about what you term as fiscal sanity among Democrats in the House?
Well, I can't speak for all my friends in the House Democratic Caucus, but there certainly are a lot of us that see $36.1 trillion and growing, see the desire from this president to potentially increase that by $5 or more trillion if he wants his no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and all the rest. Then we're talking about a lot more than that. And we shouldn't be just focused on, how we're going to stick it to those most vulnerable. We need a balanced conversation about revenues and spending.